पॉलिसी बाजार पर 1 करोड़ रुपए का टर्म लाइफ इंश्योरेंस केवल 450 रुपए महीने से शुरू। Wow.
Now let's turn our attention to India's COVID-19 preparedness as cases are rising in multiple countries, primarily in China. India is also on high alert, even though the cases currently are the lowest since March 2022. But India is still maintaining precaution before the surge, before a possible surge that can be witnessed considering the situation in other countries. Now, Union Health Minister Mansukh Mandavia has said that has now made COVID testing mandatory for passengers arriving from China, Japan and other countries. Passengers from those countries would be put under quarantine if they showed symptoms or if they test positive. That's what the health minister has said. Now, even on the airports, there's random testing that's being considered, that is being done for international arrivals. There's a 2% testing that's done. 2% of all the passengers in each flight are randomly being tested for COVID-19 as India is preparing for this, as India is in caution for this surge that is being witnessed in countries such as China.
चीन में जिस तरह से कोविड महामारी फैल रही है, उसको देखते हुए चीन, जापान, दक्षिण कोरिया, सिंगापुर, बैंकॉक सभी से आने वाली फ्लाइट को तुरंत ही एयर सुविधा के माध्यम से सभी पैसेंजर को ट्रैक किया जाएगा। पैसेंजर पहले से ही आरटीपीसीआर रिपोर्ट अपलोड करके ही आएंगे। इंडिया में आने के बाद भी उसका थर्मल स्कैनिंग किया जाएगा और कोई पॉजिटिव पाया जाएगा या तो बुखार पाई जाएगी तो उसको देश में ही क्वारंटाइन करने के लिए हमने आदेश जारी कर दिया है।
Now, it's important to mention here that the government has been repeatedly saying that there's no need to panic just yet. Even experts are saying that India's cases are considerably low. They are the lowest since March 2020 when the pandemic initially started. And that is why experts and the government has been saying that there's no need to panic just yet. But these steps are just being taken as a precaution just to avoid any such surge in India as well. The cases currently in India, the daily cases are currently hovering around 1,000, I beg your pardon, they're currently hovering around 150, 180, and as I said, lowest since 2020. But these tests and these steps are being taken as a precaution. Now, India is ramping up airport screening as well, and there's RT-PCR tests at airport that has now been made mandatory for flyers from certain countries, and these countries include China, Japan, South Korea, Bangkok. People traveling from these cities, from these countries will now be tested, and symptomatic passengers at airports will now be sent to quarantine. If I get you a sense of the number of cases in India, there were 200 cases reported in the last 24 hours and 0 deaths reported, while the total samples tested were 1,36,000. That gives you a sense of how there's nothing to panic about just yet, and these are just precautions being taken. Now, to get a sense of what's really happening at airports as India is on alert, what are the steps being taken by the government? We're joined by Vedant, who's joining us from the Delhi airport. Vedant, take us through the preparations that you're seeing at the Delhi airport and how India is taking these precautions to avoid a COVID surge.
Well, Priyanshi, a couple of important points mentioned by the Health Ministry in its guidelines to the airports. First, of course, is the fact that 2% of passengers in a flight will undergo random sampling and random testing on arrivals. I'm in fact here at the international arrivals of the Delhi International Airport, and just to give you a sense on the ground, not too many people are actually wearing masks here, because that is also something that the Health Ministry has in fact stressed on, saying that masks are mandatory now at least at airports, especially for passengers coming via international flights. Also saying that physical distancing has to be maintained during deboarding. That is something that has also been said by the Health Ministry in its guidelines. Other than that, of course, an important thing, as you rightly mentioned, is that RT-PCR tests are now mandatory for passengers coming from China, Thailand, Japan, Hong Kong and South Korea. Other than that, we are also now being told that very soon there will be a stricter mask mandate as per Health Ministry sources, especially for passengers coming on international flights. Now, we are also being told that as far as passengers of the international flight are concerned, they have to now fill that health advisory form, that Jan Suvidha form as well, which was, that mandate on that was lifted, but now it's back again. So several steps are being taken, but how much of it is actually being implemented in terms of people following COVID appropriate behavior, that is something which is a concern.
Now, Vedant, there's just for clarity, I want to ask you that there's no mask mandate just yet, right? When the cases started falling in the country and in the national capital as well, the mask mandate was lifted from flights, from the airports and across states. So just for clarity, that mandate is not back yet at the airports or at flights.
That's right, Priyanshi. The mask mandate is not back. In fact, the health minister also said that there's no need for the mask mandate to be in place at the moment. However, it is advised to wear masks in public places. A lot of the airlines, however, are now making it compulsory inside flights to wear masks. In fact, that is something that the airlines have been following even after cases dropped significantly. But there is no mask mandate as far as, the national capital is concerned, or even here at the airports.